Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for the Knick Season 1, Episode 6, Start Calling Me Dad. And this episode was amazing. I loved it. And I kind of figured out something. When the Knick does longer episodes, like say HBO length, like 51 minutes, it works really well as opposed to like 40-something minutes. I think it works a lot better because it's more interesting, there's more to show, things like that. And this episode, by far, best episode of the season, like, by far. There were so many amazing things in this episode, especially the ending. The ending was creepy, I'm gonna be honest. The ending was, like, creepy, and I love this episode. I thought it was just fantastic. I loved it. And there's a lot to talk about that happened in this episode. So, yeah, so there's a lot to talk about, and let's just get to it. So, if you guys remember, at the end of last week's episode, Lucy took, John on that bike ride, and it seemed to kind of make him more calm and just fun, and we saw that in this episode. But in the very beginning of the episode, Bertram gets a call from John, and John has been working for, he gets a call from John, and John wants him to bring Bertie. It's like midnight, it's like the middle of the night, and he wants him to bring Bertie, so he can, like, show him something, and, basically, you can see that Bertram is still trying to get Bertie to leave the Knick. He's telling him, look, this is a sign that you need to leave the Knick. You can tell right now that this is not, what you should be doing. It's just you can show right now. But Bertie doesn't seem to care. Bertie's like, you know what, I have to do what I have to do, and he leaves. So he meets up with John, and we find out that John has been working for 2 days straight on a new surgical procedure for patients with placenta previa. And he requires Bertie's assistance at the hospital. And you can see that John is just a lot more fun, not as much, he's not as very, like, dark as much anymore. He's a lot more fun now. Like, he's just having a lot more fun, and he seems to be, a lot more enthusiastic about it, and I like seeing that side of John. I really like seeing that fun side of him in this episode. So, he's using 2 prostitutes from, John's, opium den as test subjects. He proposes inserting the rubber bladder from a basketball as a balloon to show the internal bleeding from inside the patient. Now, Bertie suggests filling the balloon with water instead of air, and John commands him for his good work. And I thought that was really good when John said, he said he's, like, he's a genius and everything, and I thought that was very well done. I really enjoyed that scene. Really good stuff there. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that scene, really, really good stuff there. So yeah, the thing I gotta say about that scene definitely is that I was very surprised by how, calm John was about that. Like how calm John was, how fun he was, just a very different side of John throughout the whole episode, and I like seeing that. There were a lot of things that John did in this episode that I was definitely very surprised about, and I like seeing that side of him because it was different to see that side of John. We're not used to seeing that side of John, so it was cool to see a different side of him. I like seeing that a lot. So then what happens? What happened in the next scene? I'm trying to remember. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. So then after this, what happens is, we see, John is basically on the sad side of the story. We get to the sadder side of the story. Gallinger's baby, if you remember, Gallinger's baby, Lillian, is, has that really bad, case of meningitis, and her condition has worsened. Basically, it's worsened, and he's considering the baby's probably gonna die. So, Everett and his wife decide on a new bleeding procedure to counter-react the meningitis if it doesn't work. Now, Gallinger is still not the hero of the show. It's heartbreaking to the viewer, but, basically, it doesn't end up working, and it was really sad to see that, and, it's not really working, so he wants to kind of come up with a new solution. So I thought that was interesting, definitely, and I really felt bad for them, because I really didn't think the baby was going to die. I didn't think the baby was going to die out of this, and the baby died, and it was really sad to watch, definitely. Really well done scene, but just really sad to see that. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Now, meanwhile, Cornelia and Spates, they have actually made some progress with the typhoid fever case in the wealthy New Yorkers. Cornelia found the link, who is Mary Mallon. This is a woman who has been preparing ice cream for the rich families. So, they pretty much think that she was the cause of it. She had, ice cream, maybe she had some sort of disease in the ice cream or something like that. And that was definitely very interesting what happened there. Definitely very interesting. And, yeah, so I thought that was definitely very interesting what happened there. And meanwhile, a medical salesman named Mr. Luff sells Barrow a second-hand x-ray machine. And, if you remember, Barrow and John have that plan to buy that x-ray machine, everything they have that plan to buy that thing from Thomas Edison, and Barrow is really interested in this. He wants to buy it, he thinks it could be a good idea, and he wants to really buy it. He thinks it's a good idea. So then we find out something really sad. We then find out that even at the girls' wake, Gallinger's daughter, she has not made it, and Lillian has died. And again, I was very surprised she died. Didn't expect her to die. What's even weirder, though, is at the girls' wake, Eleanor is refusing to accept Lillian's fate. She is saying, oh, maybe she's going to come back from the dead. Maybe she'll rise from the dead and everything. And that's pretty much what she thinks is going on there. She thinks that maybe the baby will rise from the death. Which was surprising because we didn't really see the whole thing of we didn't really see the whole thing of John and not John. We didn't really get to see a lot of like his wife Eleanor. She just seemed like a regular wife and who didn't really like John. And what it seems like is going on here is that she now thinks the baby's going to rise from the dead, so Sister Harriet suggests that they adopt the orphan left at the Knick. If you remember, there was that baby, and I didn't know what was going to happen with that baby. It turns out that she wants them to adopt that baby, and I thought that was a really cool twist what happened there. I really enjoyed that a lot. So then we see Lucy and Bertie out on a date, and they both are talking about John and how they both don't really like him, and you can kind of see that I think Lucy and Bertie might actually start to do like each other, and I like seeing that, because it seemed like for a while Lucy liked John, and, we know that Bertie likes Lucy, so maybe they like each other, they'll start a relationship, I don't know, but I like seeing that scene a lot. I thought it was definitely really good. It was a cute scene, too. I enjoyed seeing it, I always like seeing these cute scenes, and I thought that was very well done, in my opinion. Really like that. So, Cornelia is telling Algernon, who is not in this episode a lot. Algernon's in about, I'd say, 3 scenes. He's not in this episode very much at all. She is telling Algernon all about her, new theory about the typhoid fever. And, Algernon's really happy for her and everything. It was a good scene to see. I really enjoyed that. And, yeah, there really wasn't much else to say about that scene, except that she told him about that. So, she tells him about that. And after this happens, we then see John. And John is with Abigail, who, it's always good to see scenes between him and Abigail, because, him and Abigail, that's someone that you wish it would have worked between them, but it ended up not working. And basically, how it ended up happening, they're talking and everything. And they're pretty much just having a conversation about, what were they talking about? I'm trying to remember. Basically, they were just talking about, what was going on, and how her condition and everything. And I thought there was, another good scene, just a normal conversation between them. And I really feel bad for Abigail. You really want her nose to work, but she tells him it, really hurts and everything. It was really sad to watch, and just a really sad scene, definitely. So, John is then approached about the x-ray machine, and it doesn't seem, and John doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, I don't care, when hell freezes over, that is when we will use this machine. Because, he tells Love he'll consider it when hell freezes over. He doesn't want to use it, and it kind of makes sense why, because he doesn't just want to use this machine to make his, and make everything better. He wants to just somehow make the Knick better, and I feel that, he doesn't trust Barrow as much anymore, definitely, because Barrow's kind of a con man, as I said. He just wants money and things like that. That's all he's concerned about. While John really does want to make the Knick better, and you can see that. So I thought that was also very well done scene, and really enjoyed that a lot. So Spates and Cornelia then decide to confront Typhoid Mary, and she is like, not even accepting what she did. She said, "Look, do I look sick to you? I would never do something like that." But they know that she's the cause of it. They know it. She's denying it, but they know she's the cause of it. So they end up attacking her, and it was a really funny scene actually. She makes a run for it. Cornelia ends up tackling her because she's not admitting what she did, and basically she ends up in trouble with that, and I thought that was very well done. Really like that. Very funny scene in my opinion. Really funny stuff there. Really love that. Very funny. Just really funny. So after that happens, we see that so that basically she gets tackled and everything, and that was fun to watch. And she's tracked down and taken in, and she's taken in to the hospital. And maybe they're gonna find a way to get her to stop using the typhoid fever. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we don't know how exactly she got it. So I'm thinking the next episode we're gonna find out how she got that typhoid fever. We'll have to see what happens there. So Cleary and Sister Harriet are still carrying on their abortion side business, their secret abortion business, and they're just talking more about each other. I really like the two of them. I've heard a lot of people say they deserve like a spin-off type of show. I really do agree. They are just so funny together. They're two characters who you never thought they would really work as like two characters. You never really thought that they'd work, but they work so well together, and just such a good scene. Another really great scene. I know, again, a lot of the scenes in this episode were like conversation scenes, and I really like that. Definitely really good. So then we see John. He puts out a call to the other New York hospitals because a new Privia patient is sent to the Knick with a full gallery watching. And he approaches Bertie, and John is very convinced that he is going to be able to do this. Most of the times, again, when John tries to save someone, it doesn't work without Algernon's help. However, with this new placental repair, they end up saving the mom and the child. So this was the first time they saved someone without Algernon's help, and I thought that was very well done to watch. I really enjoyed that. Really good scene, because I did not expect that to happen. I did not expect them to just be able to save the child like that, and they saved the child. That was perfect. I really love seeing that a lot, because I didn't think they'd be able to save it. I didn't think they'd be able to. I thought this child was gonna I didn't think the baby and child were gonna, the mother and child, I didn't think they were gonna live, because every time this happens, they end up, failing, and it never works for them. However, at this point, it worked for them, and I was surprised that it worked for them. I wasn't expecting that at all. And that was definitely very interesting that ended up happening there. I was not expecting that. And very well done scene, in my opinion. I really, really did enjoy that. Thought that was very well done, in my opinion. I really liked that a lot. So yeah, really good stuff there. So, I did not expect it. And they call it they have this new name now called the Christensen Thackeray Chickening Placental Repair. And everyone's really happy. They're clapping and everything because they finally succeeded. And everyone's really happy for them. Sorry, I just hit something. Sorry, I hit the episode by mistake. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I hit the episode by mistake. And then we get something very surprising. I was not expecting this. This was surprising, in my opinion. We see John, he's writing a paperwork for the new technique, and he hears people going downstairs. And he finds out about Algernon's underground clinic. I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming because, one, we're halfway through the season. So, obviously, he had to find out eventually. And two, it just seemed like it wouldn't be something that would be going on for that much longer. Especially because Algernon wasn't in the episode that much. So, he calls out Algernon for his insubordination, duplicity, and lack of morality. And he demands that all patients be removed from the grounds immediately. And he fires Algernon. He fires him. He says, look, there's nothing you're going to do that's going to make me not fire you. And I understand why he would fire him, because he kind of did something behind his back, and he's upset about that. But the thing is, he actually is making things better. If you think about it, he is making things better. So, John is basically pissed at him. He's about to fire him and everything. And it seems like he's going to fire him right on the spot. It seems like, look, I'm going to fire you. I don't want you to work for me anymore. That's it. You're just done. You're done. I don't want you to work for anymore. However, he stumbles upon Algernon's electric vacuum and other surgical innovations, and he thinks, because of, us being able to save that mother and child, this might also help us be able to save people, because John just really wants to save people. He really just wants to find out what's going on, because if you remember, the last time they tried to save someone and failed, and he's trying to find out why it was failing, and now he knows why, and he realizes the genius that Algernon really is here. His interest he is suddenly so interested in him, and the two men strike up a deal. Algernon can treat the patients until they recover, and John will publish Algernon's work. So for the first time, John welcomes Algernon to the Knick equally as his deputy chief of surgery, and that was fantastic. I love that, because the whole season, John has been very, racist to Algernon, and I thought that was really well done. Really great stuff there, especially because now it's going to be very interesting, because there are people that are still against Algernon, especially Barrow. Barrow doesn't want anything to do with Algernon, and he hates Algernon, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens between Algernon and John. I mean, now they're working together, and finally John is accepting the fact that he can work with Algernon. I really like that. But how long is this going to go on? That's what I'm wondering. How long is this going to happen? So, that was definitely very interesting, and really, really, really good scene there. I was not expecting that at all, but really good. And then the last scene of the episode is very creepy. Cornelia, because of her work, because of her finding the cure for typhoid fever, her father her father and her fiance are there, and she meets her fiance's father. This guy's a creep. His father, Philip, basically, she is undressing, getting ready for bed and everything. He comes in, and it seems like he's just gonna welcome her, be sweet to her. He says, look, I always wanted a daughter, and you can be the daughter for me. And it seems like he was just gonna be a sweet guy. But then at the very end of the episode, she's still undressing and everything, and he asks her a very weird question. They're playing a very good score to this, by the way. Really love the eerie score in this scene. Really worked very well. And he asks her a very weird question. He says to her, shall I leave it open or closed? And she says, what? Obviously, she's very freaked out by this. And he says, open or closed? And just, she ends up, closing the door. She ends up very scared, and she cannot marry her fiance now. She can't, because if she marries her fiance, then this is going to be her fiance's father. So that's going to be her, in-law, her father-in-law, and that's going to be very bad for her, because her father-in-law clearly wants to sleep with her. Clearly he wanted to sleep with her, and this guy is creepy as fuck. Really great way to end the episode, especially on a weird note like that. That was awesome, but man, that guy is a creep. Like, a really big creep. He really is. So, overall, this episode was absolutely fantastic. I loved it, especially that ending. Such a great way to end the episode, because now we have a huge twist here, because Cornelia was already going to probably, tell her husband, I don't want to go to, I don't want to go to New York. Not New York. Where does he want to go with her again? I remember where he wanted to go. Where did he want to go with her? Oh, God, I can't remember now. I can't remember where he wanted to go with her. Shit, where did he want to go? I know that he wanted to go somewhere with him, but now I can't remember, and I feel like an idiot. It's gonna drive me crazy. Hang on one second, I gotta look at something. Because now I can't remember where he wanted to take her. She was already going to confront him about not wanting to go with him to... Where did he want to take her? Not wanting to go with him, to San Francisco. She was already going to confront him about that. But now she can't marry him because he has this really weird, creepy father, and I don't even know if he knows it. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, definitely. I love that Algernon and John are finally working together, and he's finally treating Algernon as an equal. I really love that. I love seeing that in this episode. Very well done there. But I don't know if Barrow's going to be okay with this. We'll have to see what happens there. I like seeing John and Bertie bond as well. Maybe they'll have, like, a John, Bertie, and Algernon bond now. That's going to be interesting. Gallinger's wife, Eleanor. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen here with this baby. They're going to adopt this baby. Maybe it'll make her less crazy. I like seeing that she's actually kind of crazy, because for a while it just seemed like, she was just against Algernon and things like that. I thought that was definitely very interesting, to see that scene. I really like that. Barrow obviously wants this x-ray machine. It's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do with it, with his x-ray machine. He obviously is probably going to use it, even though John doesn't want to, just because that's how he is. So he's probably going to use it anyway, but, yeah. And I guess that's all I really need to talk about. Overall, this episode was oh, also, Lucy and Bertie. Do you think they're going to start a relationship? I like seeing them go on their first date. I don't know if Lucy's going to tell John, hey, I want nothing to do with you, because it seems like John wasn't that interested in Lucy in this episode, because he was so interested in trying to find out where are we going wrong here with us not being able to save patients. And I thought that was a good plot line, in my opinion. I really like that plot line. And also, I gotta say, I really like John's character in this episode. He's not really an anti-hero as much anymore. He's more of a character that I'm rooting for. I like that he really accepts Algernon now. I like that he was trying to find a cure for where they're going wrong with, not being able to save patients. I thought that was well done. And I like seeing his bond with Bertie as well. Thought everything was really well done this episode. And again, by far best episode of the season. Let me know what you guys saw this episode, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Outlander, which I know you guys are looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to review that to you guys. So I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.